missing someone.
So while I have people read the novel that I wrote last, I am going to work on another novel. And I don't know if I'm gonna publish this or if I'm going to like compile it with other videos, but I wanted to record my progress this time. I did record throughout November last time for NaNoWriMo, and I thought it'd be interesting to record my experience this time since I'm kind of taking it a little bit slower, and it's also different in that I have a different level of confidence now. I feel like I can do this. So I'm excited. I am kid-free currently. My boyfriend is a nurse, so he works 3 12-hour shifts a week. And he works the next few days, so I'm trying to get as much done today as I can before he goes off to work, and then we're going to the beach this weekend. I don't know when you guys will see this video, if ever, but it's going to be his 30th birthday, my 29th birthday, and Father's Day all in the same weekend. So we're going to the beach for like 4 days. So I'm gonna try to write as much as I can today. Hopefully like the next few days, even though it's gonna be just me with my son and like trying to juggle work and him, I'm gonna try to write as well as record some of my progress. I sat down and thought about the videos I like watching and what I would want to see, and I love when people share some of their story and what they're working on and what they're liking about it and what they're having a hard time with. So I think I'm going to do that. When I was talking about editing my novel, I mentioned that talking through the story with my sister really helped, and that is also why I want to sit down and record, because not only do I want to have a record of where the story started, I want to be able to talk it out. I think that helps a lot. The same sister I was talking about, I already shared with her my second story idea, this current one, and she was excited about it, which made me more excited about it. So I'm going to talk about that now. Okay, I'm gonna look at what I have so far. It is not very much at all. I did write an outline and some character sketches. Like, I spent some time on that. I have 701 words in the first chapter. But I do have a rough outline of what it's gonna look like. So I am gonna take some time to write, and then we will see where I end up. So it's 3:30. I can't remember when I started writing, but I wrote about 1,700 words. I worked on the first chapter some, and then I skipped to the second chapter. I've been doing a lot of description and a lot of Sam's thoughts about things. Not a lot, obviously. I only wrote 1,700 words, but I'm excited about it. I'm glad I sat down and wrote today. I'm glad that I'm working on it. So we will see where this week takes us, if I film again or what I end up doing. But I'm glad that I'm keeping track of everything. I think it's going to be interesting to look back on and hear my thoughts about each step of the process. So day 1 of this whole process, kind of done, because I might write more, I might not, but the filming is done. So the baby is sleeping and I am going to write. So this is day 2 of me filming this whole writing a book thing I'm gonna do on YouTube. I decided to do something a little different. I'm going to write some backstory today. So I started writing the first chapter, and I think it's good that I started without like building that backstory of what really happened in this house, because I'm seeing it as my character sees it. But now I need to know what happened. I'm going to try to write some of that today, and the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to do a word sprint, not against anyone, just by myself. I have a little summary of what I want to get done in this 10-minute time and hopefully I can do it. So I'm going to write for 10 minutes. Obviously I'm not going to post myself writing for 10 minutes, but here we go. So it stopped recording. I don't think it caught my reaction when the alarm went off because I jumped. It scared me. I got really into it, which is good. How many words did I write? I wrote 389 words, not bad, especially because I'm coming up with a lot of this like on the spot. I'm someone who I like discovering things as I write. Like I feel like it takes some of the fun out of it if you sit down and come up with everything, like every little detail before you start writing, because I feel like a lot of it will come out organically. And that's the fun in it, or that's what I have fun with when I'm writing a first draft. So it's interesting because I'm really liking this. I wasn't planning on using it. I came into this draft thinking that I'm only gonna have one perspective because usually I write with more than one perspective. And I wanted to try just writing from one person's perspective, but I don't know. I don't know what to do. I'm really into this. Maybe I'll just keep writing. I won't plan out anything. I'll just write what I want to write. Obviously, I was really into it if the alarm scared me. Sometimes you do timed writing and you keep checking the clock to see when you can stop. But this, like, I was so engrossed in it that I was in a different world. I felt like I was actually there. So that was a good little writing session. I'm probably gonna keep writing. I won't keep filming because I don't know how much space I have left on my memory card. Okay, I'm gonna get back to writing. So I feel better prepared today. I have my light charged, I have my baby trapped in his high chair, and I know that the camera isn't super zoomed in on my face, so things are looking good. I recorded one day, and the first take, it was way too zoomed in. And I have a Canon Rebel, so I don't have like a front-facing screen. So I didn't know until after. And then I re-recorded it, but by that point my little light was dying, and I don't know how I didn't realize it, because usually it's blinding and it wasn't blinding me. Anyway, okay, so I'm re-recording that clip. I still have a couple other clips that I can put in front of this video, but I still don't really know what I'm doing with this video. I know that I want to post it soon because I want to have it follow the progression of me writing this first draft, but I feel like I've been talking about things so out of order. So today, before I start writing, I'm going to talk about inspiration. Something that my boyfriend said when he was reading my book, which he's still not done with, but whatever. He said, we were sitting at the beach. We went to the beach this past weekend, and we took a couple hours for him to read my book and me to work on my newer book. And he laughed while he was reading it, and I was like, what are you laughing at? And he was like, I just like know exactly where you got this from. Like he could see spots in the book that were taken like from our lives or like my personality. And I realized that I do draw a lot of inspiration from my own life, but also what I watch and what I read. So something else that we did this weekend is we watched The Keepers, the documentary on Netflix about the nun's sister Kathy Sesnick, who was murdered. And that's all I'm going to say about the story, because I was fortunate enough to go into the story without knowing a whole lot about it. And I think that's the most rewarding way to watch something. I knew there was a murder, and I knew it involved a cover-up with the Catholic Church. Because people had drawn connections between the documentary and Spotlight, which I've seen. So I knew that much, but I didn't know anything beyond that. And I loved how they set up the story. I think a lot of times TV today or movies today, like movie trailers, kind of treat audiences like we're stupid, like they show us the entire movie in the trailer. Or TV shows will be like, stick around, here's what's coming up. Like, I don't want to know what's coming up. I want it to happen organically. Obviously it's produced, but I don't want to know everything that's going to happen before it happens, or it kind of ruins it. So The Keepers reveals the story in a really interesting way. Instead of being like, here's all the information, here are all the suspects in the first episode, they brought them up gradually, so the audience is kind of surprised throughout the entire documentary, which made it really addictive, and I finished it in like 2 days. So that made me think a lot about how I write and how I want to write. I want the mystery to develop gradually. I don't want to dumb down the mystery and reveal too much, thinking that the audience won't stick around or they won't understand. Since I am writing another mystery, that's something that I'm going to keep in mind as I continue writing. Because I was thinking, like, what if I just have multiple perspectives and reveal the backstory as I'm telling the current story, the current timeline, and have some dramatic irony, like have the audience know what's happened in this house but not have the main characters know yet. But then I was like, what if I just do it really, really gradually, just enough to like keep the audience reading and wanting to know more. And so I think that's what I'm going to focus on. I also want to talk about my inspiration for the storyline. So I talked about the storyline the first time I filmed for this video. I don't know how I'm going to reveal it yet, but the inspiration is kind of funny because I was watching The Office with my boyfriend. So he always has The Office on in the background just because it's something easy to put on, like when we're doing whatever around the house. And there's a scene where Aaron takes a picture of Dwight before he goes to the mall when he's all dressed up doing his Pretty Woman parody or whatever. So she takes a picture of him with a disposable camera, and then she's like, all done, and throws it away, and explains that disposable cameras are fun, but it sucks because you never get to see your pictures, you know, not realizing that you take them in somewhere to get them developed. And immediately I had this story in mind. I knew exactly what I was going to write about. So disposable cameras aren't used very often today. I'm sure that places like CBS still develop film, but I was thinking about what I would do if I found like a random disposable camera. Would I take it to like a CVS? Would I develop it at all? Would I throw it away? And immediately I knew what I was going to write about. So I wanted to write more of an adult story. So my main characters are around my age. I just turned 29, but they're like 27-ish. They're high school teachers, and they just bought their first house. The house was abandoned, foreclosed upon, because it was kind of just left in a hurry, and the bank eventually seized it and sold it. And therefore there's a ton of junk still in it. This couple takes this on as a summer project, knowing that this would be a good way to get a big house with a big lawn without having to pay a fortune. And as they're cleaning out the house, they find a disposable camera wedged behind a bookshelf in the basement. And they have to think about, like, what are we going to do with this camera? Are we going to just throw it away? Are we going to take it in to like a CVS and risk there being something weird on it? And, you know, so they decide that they're going to set up their own little dark room and actually develop the disposable camera themselves. And that's as much as I'm going to say, because like The Keepers, I like the idea of discovering things organically, gradually, instead of knowing the entire story before you start reading. So I'm gonna write some today. I have to decide what scene I'm going to work on. Like I said before, I was working on both the current timeline and the backstory at the same time, but I have to hurry because I don't know how much longer he's gonna stay in his high chair. So I'm gonna write for about 10 minutes, see how many words I can get in, and then see if I can fit in any more.
Is as normal, missing someone.
Are you okay? I wrote 318 words. That's not bad, is it? Hello. So I wrote 318 words in 10 minutes. I couldn't write the whole 10 minutes because someone fell and bumped his head, and you know how it goes. So I'm finding that some days I'll sit down and I'll have a goal of like, you know, like 2,000 words, and I'll write for 10 minutes and get, I think I'm averaging about 300, maybe a little more for 10 minutes, which I think is fine. But then I find that as soon as those 10 minutes are up, I start doing something else and like I don't get back to it. But I guess I should be happy that I'm getting those 300 words in, even if it's really slow. Even if I'm writing really slowly, at least I'm writing most days. Can you not fall off the couch, please? So thank you for following along with me. I'm really excited about this new story and documenting all of it. I think it's going to be really cool to be able to look back on it later. Are you waving? You're so nice. So thank you so much for watching. I will see you again next time. Bye. Can you say bye? Say bye. Good job. I am sad and so